All right, this is exercise 2 in identifying sentence structure. So we'll dive right in. And the first thing we always do is, let me make this bigger and find prepositional phrases. Okay, so I found 3 prepositional phrases. While I'm here, I'm just going to go ahead and put a bracket at the beginning and the end because I know we have at least one clause in here. All right, next thing I'm going to do is find my subjects and verbs. So I is a subject and had is a verb. And then here we have I as a subject. Might know. And then men is a subject. Were is a verb. Got that wrong. It needs to be one line. Okay. I is a subject. Could distinguish as a verb. Okay, so it looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4 clauses. So I'm going to divide the first one and the second one right here at the semicolon, or at the comma. That's one clause. And then I'm going to divide the next one right here after the verb. And the reason is because I know that which is a relative pronoun. I'm going to go ahead and indicate such that it is a relative pronoun and it is beginning another clause. And I'll end it right there with that comma. And then the last one I'll put right there. Now I'm going to go ahead and put these out on their own lines, and that way we can identify all of the rest of it. Okay. All right, so number 1, if I had such a suit, I go to my subject, I go to the left, I look for a subordinated conjunction or a relative pronoun. I know that if is a subordinated conjunction, so I'm going to identify that, and I'm going to write an SC for subordinate clause right there. And then the next one, I might know, I go to my subject, which is underlined twice. I need to underline once. I look to the left. There are no words to the left. There's not a, if I had a suit that I might know, that doesn't make sense. So this is an independent clause. Which men were unfit for their office. This is a subordinate clause because of the relative pronoun. And also I could distinguish the wise from the foolish, and is a coordinating conjunction. Also is either a conjunction or an adverb. So this is an independent clause. Okay, so this sentence has 2 independent clauses and 2 subordinate clauses, which tells me that this is a compound complex sentence. All right, let's go to the next one. For me immediately is a prepositional phrase. Oh, actually, for me is a prepositional phrase. Immediately tells when. So while I'm here, I'll put my bracket, and stuff is a subject, and must be woven is a verb. I'll put my bracket at the beginning. Oops. Make it in the right place. So I go to my subject, I look to the left. I only have one set of subjects and verbs, and I do not have a subordinated conjunction or relative pronoun. So this is an independent clause, which means this is a simple sentence. Okay, let's do number 3. Find my prepositional phrases. Of money is a prepositional phrase. To be given is an infinitive. To both the weavers is a prepositional phrase. In order, we'll close both of those right there. Okay. Okay. So we have several prepositional phrases inside. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and put my brackets at the beginning and at the end. And so find my subjects. He is a subject. Requested is a verb. All right, so I can mark all of this out and that I won't find anything in there that I need. So now I'm looking for a subject and verb here. They is a subject, and might begin is a verb. All right, so now I need to know where to break it, and I'm going to put my bracket right here because I know that that word that is a relative pronoun, and that is beginning a subordinate clause. So I have in this sentence, let's go ahead and break it out. I like to, makes it a whole lot easier to see when we have it broken out according to clauses. All right, so the first one, I go to my subject, I look to the left, I do not see any words, so this has to be an independent clause. And I've already identified the word that as a relative pronoun, so this is a subordinate clause. So if I have one independent and one subordinate, then this is a complex sentence. All right, let's go to number 4. To work very busily is an infinitive phrase. So I'll go ahead and put my bracket here, put another bracket here. Weavers is my subject, underline that once. Set is a verb, underline that twice. Looms is my direct object. They is a subject, underline that once. Pretended is a verb. So that tells me I have 2 sets of subjects and verbs. So I have 2 clauses in this sentence. So I'm going to put my brackets right here and go ahead and break it out so we can see and identify what types of clauses we have. Okay, the first one, I go to my subject, I go to the left, the words the and to. Neither of those are a relative pronoun or a subordinating conjunction. So this is an independent clause. And I go to the next sentence, and they pretended to work very busily. I go to the subject, they, I look to the left. I know that the word and is a coordinating conjunction, and it does not make a sentence or a clause subordinate. Therefore, this is an independent clause. So in this sentence, I have 2 independent clauses. This is a compound sentence. And I'm going to check the author that they joined this correctly. So here they put a comma. And here they put a coordinating conjunction, and that is correct. Okay, number 5, we'll find our prepositional phrase. In reality is a prepositional phrase. Go back and put my brackets at the beginning and the end of the sentence. It looks like I've only got 1 set of subjects and verbs in this sentence. They is my subject. Underline that once. Did is a verb. Underline that twice. So I have 1 set of subject and verb. I go to my subject, I look to the left. I don't have any words that would make it subordinate. So this is an independent clause. And if I have 1 independent clause, then I have a simple sentence. Okay, number 6, they ask for the most delicate silk is a prepositional phrase. And the purest gold thread. Oh, the whole thing is a prepositional phrase. Because they ask for the most delicate silk and for the purest gold thread. So the whole thing. So we have a simple sentence. They is a subject. Ask is our verb. 1 set of subjects and verbs. And this is a simple sentence. We have 1 independent clause. Okay, number 7, find the prepositional phrases into their own knapsacks is a prepositional phrase. At the empty looms. Okay, that is all. And this should be pretend work. They is a subject. Underline that once. Put is a verb. I'm going to go ahead and put my brackets here. Okay. So they is a subject. Continued is a verb. So we've got 2 clauses so far. And night is a subject. And became is a verb. So I have 3 clauses in this sentence. So let me break it out. I'm going to put my bracket right here, and that's going to be 1 clause. The next clause, I'll put a bracket right here. And I'm going to stop it right here at the end. And the reason I do is because I know that that word until is a subordinating conjunction, and that's going to start my subordinate clause. So I'm going to call this a subordinating conjunction. We have a subject and a verb, a subordinate conjunction. This is a subordinate clause. This sentence, this clause, it has a subject and a verb. And then, then tells when. So this is an independent clause. And the first one, they put both in their knapsacks. That is an independent clause because there's nothing that comes before the subject to make it a subordinate clause. All right, and so I'm checking the author. We have a comma and a coordinating conjunction, which indicates another way that they're both independent clauses. So if I have a sentence with 2 independent clauses and 1 subordinate clause, that is a compound complex sentence. And that's what we have. All right, number 8, to know is an infinitive phrase. And on with my cloth is a prepositional phrase. All right. I is a subject. Would like is a verb. Weavers is a subject. Are getting is a verb. So I know I have 2 sets of clauses, 2 clauses here, and I'm going to break it right here after know. And the reason is because that word how is going to begin, it's a subordinating conjunction. So this is a subordinate clause. This one is an independent clause. So if we have 1 independent clause and 1 subordinate clause, we have a complex sentence. Okay, number 9, for his office is a prepositional phrase. Okay, so find my subjects. He is a subject. Was embarrassed is a verb. He is a subject. Remembered is a verb. Person is a subject. Could see is a verb. Okay, and finished product is a prepositional phrase. So I have 3 clauses. The first one, he was embarrassed, is 1 clause. I'm going to break this out. Put my bracket here because I know that the word when is a subordinating conjunction. I'm going to label it as such. I know the word that is a relative pronoun. So I'm going to label that as such. Okay, and that's all my sets of subjects and verbs. So I'm going to call that one done. All right, so I come back here and I look, he was embarrassed. That is an independent clause because there's no word in front of he that would make it subordinate. When he remembered is a subordinate clause because the word when makes it subordinate. And that a person unfit for his office could not see the finished product, that is a subordinate clause. So if I have a sentence with 1 independent and 2 subordinate, that is a complex sentence. All right, let's go to number 10. To risk is an infinitive in his own person. is a prepositional phrase. So that whole thing. To risk in his own person is an infinitive phrase. I'll go ahead and put my bracket here. Put my bracket here at the beginning. Find my subjects and verb. He is a subject. Underline that once. Thought is a verb. Underline that twice. He is a subject. Underline that once. Had is a verb. Underline that twice. All right, I know the word that is a relative pronoun. So I'm going to put my bracket right here after thought and put my other bracket right here in front of that. And I only have one set of subjects and verbs. So now I just need to break it out. So he thought is an independent clause. That he had nothing to risk in his own person is a subordinate clause. Therefore, since we have one independent and one subordinate, we have a complex sentence. All right, there we have it.